What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with the overall market, talk about some very important levels to be watching for in terms of how the market's holding up, and what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I break anything down with all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, deposit $100, you're guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. This offer ends tomorrow, so check it out before they run out. The market's on fire again. We're seeing the market breaking off some key resistance levels, continuing to push. But we're going to be watching this resistance up here for different stocks out there and how they end up moving based off price action. So what happened today? Basically, the European numbers were aligning with expectations in terms of GDP growth, and then CPI came out. Everything was, I believe, lower than expected. Core inflation month over month was lower than expected. So was core inflation year over year, 4%, aligning with forecasts. CPI year over year was 3.2% according to the data, aligning with expectations. And then the inflation rate month over month was 0%. So once again, we're actually seeing it aligning with expectations. So with that happening, this de-incentivizes the Fed to raise rates. CPI is once again aligning with expectations, a little bit lower on most ends. And once again, this changes a lot for the Fed. The market's very excited. The market's already continuing to pump. So here are 5 things to know before the stock market opens on Tuesday. We have a very, very, in my opinion, a strong start. If anything, I wouldn't say it was mixed. I mean, we had Moody's warning that slowed us down a little bit, especially going into yesterday, but now the market is continuing to pump. With the Home Depot earnings, they actually beat expectations, even when sales ended up falling. There are more Amazon layoffs. They're about to cut about another 180 plus jobs. They may just continue to cut jobs as time goes on. And then we just have Chrysler's owner, Stellantis, has a fresh deal with the UAW strike. And this is going to be very interesting. They're going to be looking to trim costs in the U.S. operations, and they announced some voluntary buyouts. So interesting stuff so far. We'll be watching to see how this goes. But now the question is, how on earth is the market moving? SPY has resistance right here at 446.5 to 446.8. If you reject, as we're starting to reject a bit, you're going to be watching supports. The next critical supports actually at like 445. Maybe there's some support at 446, but 445 is going to be stronger. And then there's 444, and below that we have 442.5, and then this other level down here. Those are some supports, but as of right now, it's holding up very, very nicely. And it looks to me like we're going to see buyers just continue to try to defend. If we break this resistance, the next level is going to be 447.5. There's some minor support there. The strong support, resistance, this minor resistance, strong resistance is going to be close to 449 and 450 above that. We also have this unfilled gap. If we break 448.6, then we could just fill this gap up to like 450. All right, so there's room for upside. The market's starting to reject just a bit after this big pump, but just watch your levels at this point. We got some decent CPI numbers. The market is still trying to push. One thing I do want to note is that the bearish divergence is still developing technically, but I'm not going to necessarily just like assume the market's going to drop for no reason at this point. But we'll have to just wait and see if we get some kind of rejection. As of right now, there's no true sign of that, and the market's holding up very nicely. So just watch your levels, and we'll just see how it goes. As far as Tesla goes, Tesla's holding up very nicely as well. We're actually just at 235. If we start dropping, right, the next level is 232 for nice support, and also 230. Resistance, if we manage to break 236, watch for 238.25, 240, and then we have 242.5 and 245 above that. We'll be watching Tesla very carefully to see how it holds up. As of right now, it's cooling off just a bit. We're going to be watching 235 if it holds. And we have these new supports at 232 and 230. As of right now, the trend is bullish. It's still making higher highs and higher lows. And the best thing we could do is just read the trend. It's still continuing to uptrend. There's no sign of that breaking just yet. On the QQQ, we got a historical breakout for today. We're at one of the highest levels we've seen in months. And we actually broke out of this resistance. So basically, we had a breakout from the white trend line. We got a back test, and we just continued to break out off the inverse head and shoulders. So we're going to be watching resistance right here, very close to like 384.5 to 384.8, around that area. For support, watch 382.5 to 382.8 if we end up breaking below 383.5. So we have like two supports technically. If we lose 382.5, we're going to be coming right back down close to 380. As of right now, it's holding up quite decently. If it continues to break, we lose the 384. It's going to be watching 385-ish next. If we get above that, we could push all the way up to 387. There's going to be some resistance at 386.5, but then 387 is next. And then 390 would be another target for the QQQ if we're bullish. Right now, it pumped quite a bit, but we're going to be watching resistance just to be safe, support and resistance. So make sure you watch these levels. Nvidia is currently very close to 500, continuing to pump endlessly. We're at resistance right now at 497.5. If we break this resistance, 500 is next. Then we have like 504 and then 508. We also have this trend line of resistance. It's still pushing, but we have some tight resistance at 500, so I'll be watching that. If we reject, because the thing about Nvidia is it's trying to continue to push, but you will notice that the bearish divergence remains. So it's still suggesting there might be a move to the downside in the future, like a rejection. As of right now, there's no sign of it. So we'll just have to wait and see. If we do end up coming down and we lose 497, the next level is 495. I forgot to mark this. So 495 area was next. If we lose that, 490 is coming. 488, 485, and 482. As of right now, it's trying to hold up. It looks bullish. Let's see if we could try to break the high and get to at least 500. That is very, very possible. Aapl has the same thing. If we're bullish on Aapl, if it keeps breaking out, 188 is going to be next. If we break 188, Apple's going to go up to 188.5, 189, then 190 as resistance. 190 could be a good target if it keeps going. If you reject, watch 187.5, 186.6, 186.25, 185.5, then this imbalance down here at 185 as support. As of right now, the trend is favoring the bulls a lot more. All right, so that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I mean, sometimes the market can do things you don't expect. I personally wasn't expecting this big of a pump, but I did warn you all that if SPY broke, if we got decent CPI numbers, SPY could see 444, for example. So I guess you could say we were prepared for this. But, sometimes the market could just continue going. Sometimes the market could do tricky things. Sometimes the market is just insane. The best thing to do is, hey, we can't always be correct. We're not always going to be right. And that's the reason why I was saying I wasn't really playing CPI, because you never know what could happen. But now we have a trend in front of us. We have a new chart in front of us for today. And we could just read our trends, look at our indicators, and just read what the market's going to do. And then we could still get in and out pretty quickly. We could still enter different plays when watching it. All right. The 4 hour is turning bullish on SPY. There's going to be an attempt to push higher, but we'll see if this move ends up failing or not. But as of right now, we look more bullish, and we will see how the market continues. All right. So that's what I have for this video. Thank you all so much for listening. Please be very careful out there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you, and peace out.